the Lord spoke to me and began to deal with me in this detail, he told me to go down to the potter house. So I went down to the potter's house to see what the Lord was talking about. When I got down to the potter house, the potter being God himself, his sovereignty, his do what he want when he want to do it, the representative in that hand, the motion, the hand that leads and guides, the hand that is in control, the one that has the plan, the one that has the vision, the one that takes or that has the intention, the one that has the perspective, the potter. The potter by the name, and today our potter name is Philip. Philip, where are you, Phil? Where are you? Can you put your hands together today for my friend Phil? Come on, Phil. Come on, the potter, the one that has intention, the one that has vision for the clay. The one that has intention, the one that has vision for the clay, the one that has intention, the one that has vision for the clay. How many of you know that God has a plan for your life? Have I got a witness here? That he has intention, that he has vision, that he has perspective. Y'all ain't helping me up in here. That God know. You might not know, but God know. You might not get it. You might not figure it out, but God knows exactly who I am, what I'm supposed to be, and even the struggles that I had to deal with was on purpose. I wish I had somebody in here that knew that even my mistakes, God know how to turn around to a blessing. I ain't got nobody in here talking back to me. I know you ain't made no mistakes. I know you ain't. You goody two-shoes, but that's all right. Because I made some mistakes in my life, and I thought surely I blew it now, and surely I messed it up. But God said all things will work together for the good of them that love God and are called to according to his purpose. If you ever made a mistake, thought you blew it and messed up, but God turned it around, I dare you to get up and just give him some crazy praise for about 5 seconds. The one, sit down. Tell your neighbor, sit down. I can't see. Sit down. The one that has the vision. The one that has the vision for the clay. God help me in here. You got to be willing to allow him to work. Hold on, Philip. Before we pull that clay out for a second, can you take that off for a second? Because when I first came down to the potter's house, the first thing that I noticed was the wheel. Before I even got to anything, I noticed the wheel being the place of working. The wheel being the place of working. In fact, that God is still working on me. When you come, this ain't the place where you eat. Y'all ain't helping me. This ain't where you play games at right here. This ain't where you know, this ain't for that. When you walk into a place and you see this, you understand this is the place for work. Something I noticed about the wheel, can you tap that a little bit? It's powered. The wheel has some power, some turning power. A revolution. First thing I noticed was that the wheel goes in a constant revolution. Y'all ain't hearing what I'm saying. Before you get ready to do anything with that wheel is powered to turn, powered to change, powered to bring about a circumference, power to go around and around. I understand, and I asked Phil, I said, Phil, why? What's so significant about the wheel? He said that the wheel is essential to the development because what happens in one place happens everywhere. See, I say it again, you didn't get it. What happens in one place happens everywhere. See, we have enough inconsistencies in our life because we stop one place and we go and we stop and go, we up and down, we disfractured and we disjointed because when you get on the wheel, the revolution, and it doesn't stop, what happens one place happens every place. The turning power, it creates consistency in your life. You'll see and understand what I mean. So I understood that the first thing was, it was a revolution. It was a revolution. And then I understood that once you got the revolution, then you have the clay. The clay is like people. There's different types of clay. There's common clay, regular clay. Common clay, this can be fired to form, but is weaker than most. It can't handle much heat. It's common clay. It can't take too much. It's common clay. I'm so glad that God knows how much I can bear. He never put more on me than I can bear because he knows when I'm at my capacity. He knows how much I can handle. Common, somebody say common clay, common clay. The next kind of clay was earthenware. Somebody say earthenware. Earthenware, dug from the ground. This all the clay comes from the ground, but earthenware is what you get stoneware from. You know, them dishes that you got. Stoneware. Now, stoneware is more durable. It's strong. It can be fired at higher temperatures because it can take the heat. You can't waste your time looking at somebody else's trial because you don't know what kind of clay they are. Lord, why they don't get to go through nothing, but I got to go through everything? God said, because they common clay and you earthenware. You ain't hear what I'm saying. Some of us is just earthenware and some of us is just common clay, but it has nothing to do about where we came from. It has something to do about what we're about to become. Y'all ain't hear what I'm saying. Some of you had to go through more hell than your neighbor because where you going is farther than where your neighbor has to go. Doesn't mean God love you less or love you more. It just means that he has a different purpose for your life. Somebody say earthenware. The next kind of clay was what they call porcelain clay. This is fine texture. This clay is very stiff. It's very stiff and stubborn. Can't tell this kind of clay nothing. Can't give this kind of clay no advice. Y'all ain't, just say amen so they don't know he's talking about you. This porcelain clay is very rare and expensive. It can handle heat. It's fine texture, and it can handle the heat, the pressure. This clay can take the fire, take a licking, and keep on ticking. I know I got some people that took a licking in here. You sitting here trying to figure out which clay you are. Some of you like, I must be porcelain. All the God Almighty, I must be Jesus. So you got common clay, you got earthenware, and you got porcelain. What I found out about all clay, though, is that all clay is resilient. It can take the pressure, and no matter what, it just bounces back. I found out that all clay can be recycled. It never gets thrown away. Because of its resiliency, you never just take the clay and say, this clay is good for nothing, because all clay is good for something. It might not be good for anything in its current state, but once it get on the wheel and get to work a little bit, I just wonder if I got 20 people in here that they told you was good for nothing, but you know that they was lying. They told you that you'll never be nothing. You wasn't going to go to school. You wasn't going to have no money. You wasn't going to get saved. You wasn't going to get off drugs. You wasn't going to come out of your situation. You wasn't going to rebound from your circumstance. I just wish I had about 20 people that can testify and say they said I was good for nothing, but look at here. I dare you to just show off a little bit and just look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Clay. Somebody shout clay. Somebody say, work it out, Lord. Work it out. So clay is resilient, but it has some limitations. But the limitations are built into its material. God. the limitations are in the fabric of its being. The limitations, like people, clay can only do so much. It can only go so much. The thing that I learned about clay is that at first I thought clay just yielded and did whatever he said. But the potter taught me that the clay actually, when being formed, it pushes back. If it doesn't like, sometimes it fights the process. God talking to somebody in here. The clay had limitations. It doesn't just lay there and just spin around and do whatever the clay maker say, but if it don't like it, it just pushes back and start fighting and resisting and battling and pushing and pushing and fighting and battling and pushing and fighting and battling and pushing. And in the process of it pushing and battling and fighting, if the vision for the clay is clear by the potter, he stays his course. He doesn't quit. He doesn't give up. He can take the push. He can take the fight back. He can take the battling because he says, you gonna be what I need you to be. You can push. You can fight. You can. The thing that assures its success is the fact that as long as the clay stays on the wheel, it will be what it's supposed to be. The only thing that can forfeit the clay from ever becoming what it's supposed to be is if it get off the revolution. I ain't saying nothing, but I'm just telling you. Long as you stay on the revolution, you gonna be what God would have you to be. Just keep turning and turning and turning and changing and turning and growing and blossoming and let them say what they want to say. And when they look at you, say, don't worry, because God ain't through with me, man. I'm still on the wheel. He's still working it out. I dare you shout, work it out, Lord. Tell your neighbor, tell them, stay on the revolution. Stay on it. Stay on it. Stay on it. Don't get off it. Even if you don't go to this church, stay on the revolution. Stay on a constant turn. Stay on a constant transformation. Stay on the evolution. Stay always changing. Don't let them ever figure you out. When they think they got you pegged, say, oop, I changed because God working on me. Up, and when they say, I know where to find them, say, nope, no you don't, because that's where I was last week. But every week I'm getting closer and closer, higher and higher, deeper and deeper, because God is working on me. Somebody shout, work it out, Lord.